No.
Hello to my students and any other viewers. Welcome to another video with Sherbert. We'll see how long she stays because this one is now climbing up onto the couch. So it's been a couple days. It's been a couple of interesting days with all of the pain medications and everything from this post-surgery. It's really stepped up my nausea, and I do have an anti-nausea medication that my doctor gave me, but when I take it within 20 minutes I'm just like, I need to lay down, and I'm sacked out for like at least 2.5 hours. And then she gets to go on ABC Mouse.
And
so
all my hamsters.
Yeah, but which, like our math Freckle, when she earns a certain number of tickets, she gets to go in and earn different things. So it's been a great incentive for her practicing her math. Freckle is through our school. ABC Mouse can be through schools, but I've paid for a oh my goodness, subscription for her to do in addition to everything else. So I think you can sign up for minimal things are free, but you get to unlock everything with a subscription. They had some special going on that was like 50% off. So I jumped at that opportunity. So we are going to color in My Splint today. So you're going to actually have to scooch over, and if I could have this blanket to hide my lap, that would be fantastic. Okay, so let's see.
Am I going to color?
Ooh. Well, we're both going to color. This is where I wish my editing skills were a little better. So let's see, if we move these markers here, I might be able to get a little closer. Perfect. So in our last video we sketched, and it's been a couple of days, so there have been some parts of the cloth wrapping that have kind of rolled, so especially here toward the middle. So I actually took a glue stick and glued them, but I didn't really get to it over here. I'm not going to worry about it because by the time most of you watch this, I will have had the splint taken off. They're going to look at the incisions, take out the stitches, and then I'll find out what the next stage of recovery is. So, oh, we're missing the big yellow marker.
I could
Red, orange, mead, yellow, green, blue, purple. So we're missing that one. Let's have the little markers. So really quick, cute story about this mug. This belonged to my dad. It held all of his pens, all of his highlighters and everything. Of course, his name was Bill. And so I got to keep this. So I keep some of my pens and things here, but for this coloring and sketching project, we put all of the Sharpies in it. So we started out with the intent, with the plan to have these be sunflowers, but as Lynn and I have talked, I think we've decided to just make them whatever flowers. So
can we use whatever color that we want?
Sure. Let's just make this super duper fun, super duper colorful. And oh, she's already going for the blue. But when keeping in mind coloring flowers, think about what they look like in nature. If most flowers that have a darker leaf, they will have a lighter center. And if they have a lighter leaf, or sorry, petal, they're going to have a darker center. There are some exceptions to that. Yeah, you are ready, aren't you? So I think I'm gonna start. I gotta adjust my leg a little bit. I love this little berry color that comes in here. So I'm gonna Yeah, if you want to start on the background, that's fine with me, hun.
I make it every different color that I want?
Sure. I love colorful flowers. And I was surprised that the colors really don't change that much when we've gone over the tape. But the parts where the cloth lays is still, it's interesting. So remember to think about where your light source is coming from. So if the light is coming from down here, then this part of your petal is going to be lighter and the shadow is going to be on the opposite side. So that's why this is all dark.
May I please use that?
Well, you'll have to wait until I'm done with the color.
Okay.
Whoops. Oopsies. We'll make it work. Okay. I'm almost done. Because I want this to look like the veins. So we need some veins of the flower. And I'm kind of trying to go with the texture of the,
Thank you.
You're welcome, texture of the cloth too. And it kind of varies depending on which section it was wrapped. Oh, I gotta adjust my left hip. Whoops, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, that's why I tried to give you the warning. And now this one is that I'm currently coloring is going to be a little tricky too, because we did this kind of overlapping on purpose. So there's going to be a little more shadowing on this one caused by this flower being on top of this one.
Mama, thank you for like pushing it, because I needed that spot to be dark. For like as a shadow. I'm going super slow instead. Did you know some people get hair dye from Sharpies and it's not healthy for their lungs?
Yeah, that was a really weird video that we watched. There was something trending for people making hair dye out of Sharpie ink.
Yeah.
It was, don't do that. Sharpie ink actually is very scented and you don't want to sniff them. It actually has chemicals that if you use them for a long time, you might start getting a headache or start feeling a little sick to your stomach. That is a sign that you have breathed it in too much and you need a break.
Yeah, like cigarettes.
Well, you shouldn't touch cigarettes anyway. Sharpies can be a tool for coloring. So those are kind of apples and oranges. They're not equal comparison. Smoking in general is bad for you.
Yeah, your lungs turn gray. And
they do, because you're purposely breathing in poison, basically.
Yeah.
And we watched old movies where, fancy people, rich people are having cigars or whatever, cigarettes, and that was back in an era where they hadn't seen the negative results yet, and people start getting lung problems. They started getting lung cancer.
They had to have lung surgery.
Well, that's some people could, depending on what the problem was, but that's really, really tricky to do. But, like with anything, when people are starting out doing it, they don't always know what the bad long-term effects are on our bodies. So, when people start having medical problems and they start going, well, as the doctors, let's see, we have this group of people and they all have similar problems and symptoms. What could be the problem? And then they start looking at their habits and their lifestyle, and they would go, hey, they're all smokers. I wonder if it has something to do with that habit. And then they started really studying it and discovering that yes, if people who smoke, oh, we're missing the yellow in this little one too.
No, I'm using it.
Oh, you're using it. Okay, just kidding. And so then the doctors who do all that research start telling the cigarette companies this is bad.
Do you need yellow?
No, I use this one. Thank you though. And so now on all of the packages, they couldn't pass a law saying smoking is illegal, but what they did pass as a law was you had to put a warning that smoking was bad for you. So now on packages, it says the Surgeon General's warning. So sometimes, look how
pretty this looks.
Yeah, that looks very pretty. So sometimes we just have to really pay attention to what our bodies, well, all the time, we have to really pay attention to what our bodies are telling us, because they're always going to tell us what's wrong and what we need.
This is bad.
That's just how God made us.
What's up?
Oh. Are we coloring in the same area? Well, I'll scooch over here. Now, in one of the other videos, I actually got a comment slash question that I thought I would answer in this video. They were asking if I could talk about things that I found the most difficult to do with this foot splint on. And I kind of went, that's actually a really good question, but kind of difficult to answer, because the short answer is everything has been difficult. There's not a whole lot that I can do on my own. I tried helping my little helper with cooking meals for a couple of days, and the swelling got so bad, and redness and tingling. So even though I was on my kneeling scooter, my foot wasn't elevated. It was too much too soon. Getting up and down off of surfaces or chairs, like from the couch, off of bed, to be perfectly honest, after using the restroom, because I cannot put any weight on this foot. And usually when you're standing up from wherever you've been sitting, you're going to put weight on both legs. So that has been a completely different, well, let's flatten this, different lesson, trying to figure out how to do things and how to just stand up from wherever I've been sitting. But we've had to adjust everything. When my mom came to visit, our number one priority was rearranging how things were from our front door to straight to the living room, because normally our dining room table is oh sorry. Oh, is it rubbing off? That's okay. Our dining room table has been sticking out because I sit in a certain spot for our digital meetings and everything, which we were able to push that back, so that gave room. But I needed a straight path basically from my bedroom at the back of the apartment to the front door so that I could be on the kneeling scooter. So that had to be carefully thought out.
Well, Shepherd is walking by.
Yeah, well, she probably hears the birds. Now that spring is here, we've had a lot more birds.
No hummingbirds, because...
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're just not in the right area for hummingbirds.
Actually, no. There's actually a mini battle.
A mini battle.
We have a hummingbird feeder, and the apartment has a hummingbird feeder.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't a regular bird feeder that you saw?
Well, Dee Dee said, "Oh, look, that's a hummingbird feeder."
Oh, you guys must have seen it in a different spot.
It was hanging from a tree.
Oh, okay. So I'm just adding some darkened lines. Oh, look at your pink flower you're making. Very pretty. I think I'm going to make a light blue one right here.
This is a really pretty castle. I hope they say, wow, this is really pretty.
Well, when I first talked to my doctor about color of cast.
I hope they cut it.
Well, I don't know how they're going to take it off.
Because
this whole thing tomorrow will be a surprise, kind of.
Wait, it's tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Oh,
so, other things that have been difficult. This is my driving foot. I can't drive anywhere. So we've had to figure out, I've downloaded a lot of apps for food delivery, for grocery delivery. I talked with a lot of people before I had my surgery, because since this happened during quarantine, a lot of people have been doing grocery deliveries because they just didn't want to go out. How can we blame them? But that really was helpful because I was able to download those grocery store apps.
This quarantine has actually been a blessing in disguise.
It has. What are some ways that it's been a blessing?
Because you can't drive anywhere to go to the regular school in the building.
Yeah, I can't drive anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
So we've been
and
stuck inside.
And secondly,
who are you stuck with?
Mama.
Yep, so everybody is stuck with their
parents,
families,
family and friends.
Oh, this is kind of,
what?
That's interesting.
It's kind of going to peel it off.
Yeah. Oops, that's brown. Tip of mine, looks like parts of it have maybe from sleeping. Huh.
Peeling.
I usually can't see. Oh. Okay. We're gonna make it work, aren't we?
I'm using these because the centers of flowers are sometimes yellow.
Well, can I make a suggestion? Shade it with brown instead of black.
Well, this is to draw the little dots.
Oh, okay.
But still, I'm going to shade it with brown.
Sometimes it looks a little more natural to do it with brown.
Ooh, I'm using little circles.
Yep. Tiny, tiny little circles. I love this blue. It's one of my favorite blues.
Careful.
This kind of robin's egg blue.
There we go. And then.
And you can color that leaf. Let me color this petal really quick first. Almost done. I think we're kind of in your way. Well, I'm gonna kind of clip that little piece of tape that's frayed off. When we've had lots of, I am grateful that even though we're in a small apartment, that this apartment has a private patio. I am very grateful for that.
I'm about to draw the dots.
The apartment that we lived in Chicago did have a balcony, but it was facing the main highway, so it was really loud.
And
oh, and the smell from all the smog. Oh, it was terrible.
I
So
vomited a lot.
no, you didn't. No, you didn't. So her playhouse was out there, but it never got used because the smog scent, I didn't want her breathing it in. It's not
safe.
It's not safe. It's not healthy.
Man, please rub.
Well, let's get the flowers and the petals and everything in first.
Okay. Let's wait on the black.
Yeah.
The skinny black. Because we can add more details with that.
We can.
Oh yeah, and the yellow.
There we go.
Because the bees have yellow and black stripes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, careful. Careful. And the neat thing about adding all the colors, do you want to color that leaf? The neat thing about having all these colors even behind is they can look like more flowers, like a whole field of flowers under. Oh my goodness, my arm is green. My arm is green.
You want more arm green?
No. So those are definitely, just getting around in general has been difficult. There's not a whole lot I can do. I go from bed to the couch and then have my foot propped up on usually 3 pillows. Right now it's only on 2, and my toes are kind of showing that I'm not elevated enough. So I have to keep my foot elevated
higher than her nose.
At my nose level or higher. But I can't do that from a sitting position because then there's a bend at the like at the stomach, so my body makes like a V, right? So I have to lay back and prop my foot up. Oh, look at how colorful we're getting. I gotta get the veins back in, huh? Yep, nice little short strokes and lines are very helpful. Beautiful. Now I think this spot right here is perfect for a bee. Would you like me to draw it for you?
Yes.
And you can color it.
Black.
Okay, so she's been asking if we can
add a butterfly. You could add a butterfly.
So let's
right there.
I can't really see too well.
But I can.
So and give him some antenna and not too shabby for not really being able to see too well. And can't really show it too well. I'm going to draw a nice long skinny oval. And
it's easier to do this on paper.
It would be much easier to do this on paper.
Because you could just do
And then if you want to do the wings of a butterfly, remember when we were sketching, I encouraged you to think about what things look like picture shapes. The wings of a butterfly are like the 2 elephant ear curves is what we call them, or when you make a capital B, but one would be backwards. want to put some purple polka dots in there too.
Hey, you're in my way. I want to color over them. I want to color over them.
Oh, you got to color around them. Okay, I got to rotate my leg again, honey. Sorry. That's the other thing that's tricky is I can't leave it in one place for too long. Oh man, my hips will start falling asleep. But wiggle, wiggle. I've been able, the first few days, if I wiggled my toes, I could see that they were wiggling, but I couldn't feel the action. You know how you can feel your toes rubbing against each other? And with a lot of the tingling, and the doctor's assistant was telling me that that is actually the nerves coming back and firing again. In the first few days, that wasn't, I mean, it was just numb for like the first 3-4 days. And then after about a week, it was early last week, oh man, I could really feel the pulsing and the nerves really trying to refire. So that kind of upped the pain a little bit. So lots of naps, lots of sleepy these last couple of weeks, which is very unusual for me. And this one has been very understanding. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. I see now this kind of is rolling, so I've got to come under here with my blue marker and kind of color this underside a little so it doesn't look funny.
There we go. I'll split it with this touch of blue.
There. So that when it comes unrolled, it won't look like I forgot a whole stripe. You see, it's just kind of shifting everywhere. So, all right. So on our own, Lynn and I will probably color more of this, but I did have one special thing that I wanted to do in honor of my students, who, especially my first graders, because they were students last year as kindergartners when I fell and had the initial break, and they have been extra understanding that I haven't been able to walk as fast or play as much. Oh man, before I fell and had this break, I was out playing kickball with these kids. I was playing, we were learning how to jump rope. We were learning how to skip. I mean, I'm that type of teacher that I am out there playing with the kids during our break time, during our recess, and not being able to stand. Hang on, I need this space. Okay. Not being able to stand or being able to walk really greatly limited what I could do. And
we were all like, teacher, could you do this?
Yes. And but it worked out though, because I was still able to play kickball, but I just ended up being the pitcher, which actually also ended up being a blessing, because then everybody wasn't fighting over who was going to be the pitcher. So what else are we trying to do? We were trying to learn hockey last year, and I get out there with you guys. I'm not very athletic at all. I'm a musician, not an athlete. So, and I've been open about that. There you go. So, and so with my black marker up here, I'm going to write dedicated to the K1 class, but not just this year. This year would be the 2019-2020, but I'm including last year's too. So I'm going to put 2018 to 2020. So it should be K1 classes. And then I'm going to write each student's name on a petal. Okay, so I'm going to write Lynn right there. Who else?
Liam.
Oh, Liam. Should we put him on a pink or a blue?
Blue.
On a blue. Okay, let's see. Then there was Lynn.
And Aria.
Oh, and Aria. Aria has to go on a pink.
What about me? Am I on pink?
You're on a pink.
And Lilia.
And Lilia has to be on a pink.
What about Eva?
Well, let's get through our current class and then we'll add our first grade friends who were with us. They were there this year. They make up part of the second grade class. Okay. Bless you. Let's see, we've got Daniel.
Liam. Oh, yeah.
Liam's already on there. And Ian.
Well, we are all so this old blank.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, and Samu. No, because that part's just gonna get dirty. I'm gonna put Samu over here because the other ones. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in our current class. And then who we had Eva and Hope as first graders last year. And
what about Ellen?
Well, she is new this year. I'd love to. Let's see if we can find a place for on leaves. What do you think? Okay, let's put Ellen over here. Okay, oh, we had Corinthian was a first grader last year.
Welston.
We had Welston.
Not Dallin.
No, Dallin was in third grade last year. I'm also trying to find leaves that are big enough for the names. Who else moved on? Oh, Danny C. Oops. Oh, that was right in the bump. Danny C. And then Danny W. joined us this year.
Wait,
who else?
Danny W. is in our class this year?
No, she's a second grader, but she's new to the school this year. Who else was a second grader last year? Corinthian, Welston, Eva, Hope, Danny C. Wait, 1, 2. Well, that's not a flattering view. I know I'm forgetting somebody, and I will eventually remember and add them on. Let's see, I had you 6, so we had 5 first graders last year. Eva, Hope, Danny C, Welston, Corinthian. Oh, so that was everybody. Okay, so let's take a look at our finished coloring and look at the beautiful top that Lynn colored in. I'm going to have her do more of this later. I'll have to elevate my foot better so she can get to it, and I'll probably have to lay on my tummy and let her color the very, very back. So, but this is the main part that we wanted to do. So, dedicated to the K1 classes of 2018 to 2020. So with that, a very special thank you to those students who were in my class through this journey, whether it was last school year or this school year. Oh man, we had so many people who stepped up and substituted when I had this initial break, and those kiddos, I think they had like 5 different subs and a different person almost every day, and they just rotated through everybody's schedules, which is not an easy thing for this age of kids to do. Like, consistency is huge, and they were such troopers. They were such troopers through the whole thing, and I'm thankful to the parents for their support, to the subs who did come in and covered my class for the support this year and all the prayers for healing, and even to the students that were new this year and heard students I had last year asking me, how's your foot at the beginning of the school year? Is it still broken? And I had actually told them no. Turns out, after further testing and MRIs, there was still a little bit of healing to do. So, but I gave the best answer with the information that I had. Oh, you dropped marker. Thank you. So thank you to all of those who have given your support, who drove Lynn to and from school, who babysat her when I had doctor's appointments,
Thank you.
who took me grocery shopping when I was just so stir crazy. You know, what do you need? Do you need a meal? Do you need this? And I need to get out of this apartment. And scooted around with me on an electric scooter, which those things take some practice and getting used to drive. They are not easy to maneuver. So, and thank you to Lynn for all of her patience. This kid, well, every kid has their moments. This one has been such a trooper. So I very much appreciate that. Such a blessing. So thank you guys for all of your love and support and prayers. And here's to the next stage of healing. And yes, I will keep you guys posted. We will probably come home from the doctor's tomorrow and give an update that will get posted on what he said, what I have to do. I do know that 6 weeks of physical therapy is in my future. Lynn is hoping that we get to go back to the same place that I went to last summer. That is up to Workman's Comp where they're going to send me. So hopefully I will know and be able to start that within the next couple of weeks.
Also
and
know that she's going to be sent to physical therapy.
Well, yes, that's what I just said. 6 weeks of physical therapy, 4 weeks of that I know I will have to be back in the boot. But more information will be given tomorrow after the doctor's appointment, so I will keep everybody posted. All right, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll keep you updated in the next one.
We love you.
Yes, we do. Bye.